Sarah's here, back at it again, with reviewing another wellness piece of equipment. As you know, I vet, I curate, I advise in this space with practitioners, clinics, home users on all kinds of modalities, and have access as well direct to manufacture with so many different things. So you're always welcome to reach out. My email's in the description below. So this video is going to first point out that what pelvic floor disorders is as a market or um, a demographic that is really good for a business to approach and offer solutions, therapeutic solutions for. And also this video is going to cover as well the good news that there is a new alternative for, uh, or an alternative to an Emsella chair. Okay, and we'll get into also what that is, of course, on the video, what this type of technology is. What you're looking at in front of you is not an Emsella chair, just to be clear. It actually looks like this, okay? And let's see if we can get another photo here too. There's a little photo there too, the control tower photo. So it's definitely very different shaped looking. I think ultimately, well, anyways, I won't get too far into the review yet. So the good news is that while this company has had a kind of a corner on the market for quite some time, and they do sell their chair for over six figures, by the way, as far as the cost goes. While they have had a corner on the market, and there really are a lot of clinics and businesses doing well as far as offering the therapy, it is effective. Um, there is now a much lower cost alternative to this brand. So that is the good news. And in terms of how this works and the high frequency, um, the, the the specifications as far as this aspect is concerned is not necessarily exclusive to this company. Okay. So, what is it for? What does it do? So, I first want to dive into some interesting statistics. You may not be aware, but there's actually a huge amount of women out there that have pelvic floor disorders. Okay, a third of all women, which is kind of bonkers when you think about it. 50% of women over 55. It's insane. So we will dive into actually like what are pelvic floor disorders, or like what are some of the most common ones. But I just kind of wanted to show you that there is a really significant market out there. And so if you have a business, just imagine a 25 square mile radius, for example. If you're doing certain sorts of marketing online, there's going to be a lot of women that are going to be looking for a solution. And to be perfectly honest, there is not much out there. You can see like a pelvic floor physiotherapist, and all these links to these sites, by the way, is going to be below in the description box. And you can kind of look at this hands-on therapy and get some guidance, and that's great. It's really a great thing. You should consider having a pelvic floor physiotherapist as well. But at the same time, I'm just pointing out that if somebody can't find in a Google search in their area somebody that specializes in this with the hands-on manual work, then what are they going to do essentially? And at that point, it's just pretty much suffering with a variety of issues. Okay, and also as far as Emsella goes, there's not like a million out there. There's a huge amount of areas in the world. It's not even close. They don't even have close to enough out there. They need to have like hundreds of thousands of units out there, and they have nowhere near that to really adequately support such a large percentage of women. Okay, so I'm just also, as I have this on here, I'm just kind of like pausing in different sections just in case you always want to like hit pause on the video itself and kind of read a little bit of this in real time. But anyways, so what kind of conditions are we talking about? So let's find our list here. And put a quick pause here and kind of see here. Also, it does cover men and women, or I'm sorry, also covers men as well. Erectile dysfunction, various prostate sort of things, um, and just overall like sexual health and more blood flow down there and things like that. So it can be part of a protocol or a sexual health protocol or however you want to look at it for men. So even though the vast majority of who's using this technology is women and the vast majority of marketing out there. So Again, a lot of these conditions can kind of creep up because of these reasons. Pregnancy, childbirth, hormonal changes, heavy lifting, just sitting too much, constipation. Another one is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a very high percentage, up into the 30+% actually, of I think it was either of men and women, or men and I can forget what it is, but it's actually quite significant in men and women as well. And that can kind of lead to a greater propensity to develop some conditions. So there's really actually a lot of verticals that you can market to, and that this sort of technology can help with. Okay. But again, as I said, even though there's a lot of business that you could grab out there and help a lot of people, it's a high ticket price, for an Emsella, over 6 figures. And now we have this new alternative, which, as you can see immediately when you compare chairs, this one is going to be a lot more comfortable and supportive. So that is right off the bat, I think a major drawback, besides the much higher price of an Emsella, but the complete lack really of a good supportive chair when people are getting this, because on average treatments are going to be 20 to 30 minutes. That's a good period of time where just having somebody sit on the edge of a chair without any back support, in the case of the Emsella, they're going to become quite uncomfortable, and where are they going to be most uncomfortable? Probably in their lower back and their pelvic region. Do you see what I'm saying? Which is kind of silly, because that's like everybody using the chair, right? So they really kind of went here with this alternative, with a really something way more supportive, which I think is great. I think also it kind of, I don't know, I just like the look at this a little bit more, personally. The other one's just kind of odd looking, a little awkward. Anyways, let's check into the control panel here and see what we got. Just so you can kind of, if you can't see this in person, this is the next best thing. Promote circulation to the prostate training, pretty cool. Reproductive blood supply training. Again, this might be part of like a protocol for somebody that's trying to get pregnant, which is usually a multifaceted approach, from supplementation to all kinds of things. All right, so moving on. When you get to like circulation, things like that, that usually has more to like, there's many aspects where you want to improve circulation, obviously, but especially in the case of like arousal and things like that. So move on down here. We have things related to bowel movements, constipation, incontinence, things like that. By the way, these technologies are impressive even when there's like nerve-related issues that are affecting the control of bowels, the peristalsis, or bladder control. Because if there's any effect of nerves, either post-surgery issues or like spinal issues or degenerative conditions, there's really so many things, right, that can impact the nervous system. I mean, what do you do in those difficult scenarios? If it's affecting then, leakage and just basically anything bathroom related. And the answer is there's almost nothing you can do. So you just gotta suffer and deal with it. So really, with the exception of using electromagnetic frequency and actually still being able to tone, influence, and affect muscles that might not be getting a direct signal, let's just say, for contraction or for toning. This is a way of bypassing whatever's going on with the nerves that normally can control that. So it's really amazing. It's a game changer, for a lot of women and some men. So that's the control panel in a nutshell. Price point is really going to depend on if you want to do a pre-order for $35,000, or you are just not going to do that and pay full price, which is $42,000, which is a really good deal, of course, much less, and should have the same level of efficacy, just from the standpoint of the specifications, like what it actually produces, the electromagnetic frequencies and protocols being right on par with Emsella, what they're offering. So now that we have talked about a nice alternative here, and by the way, if you want to order this, all that information is below in the description. There is another chair as well from the same company, and you probably are wondering what that company is. So let me pivot over there. So the company is Energy Development, just so you know. Okay, and let's go back a second. All right, so there is another chair, and so what we also have discovered from a similar European chair technology is that with some slight modifications to the electromagnetic protocols, you can also affect other sorts of muscles, basically, elsewhere in the body, using the lower body to be precise. So there is another chair that that is available for if you are a place that wants to develop a protocol for slimming, body contouring, essentially losing fat in the lower body, toning muscles to a certain extent. Maybe you want to get more tone in your glutes and lose a little bit of fat. You get the idea. Strengthening the core and the back a little bit. There's one that basically is a little stronger and works more of the muscles. That is generally a really important part of a total weight loss or body contouring fat loss protocol, working the muscles of the body along with things that directly address lipolysis, opening up the fat cells, which you're always welcome to chat with me about as well. There's multiple approaches to doing that and many different technologies, from light to cold to you name it. Okay, so Energy also has technology that's very on par with some far more trendy brands out there of electromagnetic stimulation. Okay, so this is also a very, very good price for this type of unit. But again, long story short, as you put these paddles on different areas of the body, are going to induce the same thing as if you were exercising, long story short, or lifting weights or whatever you want to call them. So when you kind of read the description here and get into it, these types of things that are mentioned is pretty much the same physiological functions as exercising. Okay, but are you actually exercising as far as while you're seated or you're laying down usually while that's happening? So these do pair together well with the other new chair designed more for weight loss. And at that price point, it's really good for some of the more trendy things out there for body contouring. You could get like 3 different modalities for body contouring and get overall a better outcome for like the same price or less than the same price than some of these other trendier companies out there. I'm not naming any names, but you can always ask me and I'll tell you. I've been in the body contouring space a long time. I've been in many different verticals for a long time, reviewing and selling various equipment. So I just kind of wanted to show you that there's 2 different chairs. If you want to go more the weight loss body contouring direction, there's that. If you want to go more the pelvic disorder direction, you can do that too. Price on the chairs goes anywhere from $35,000 to $48,000, depending on which chair we're talking about, and also if you're pre-ordering, putting in a deposit, or just buying a full price, not as a pre-order. Anything else that I'm forgetting here? Other than the basics, financing is of course available. If you calculate your ROI, by the way, one of the links that I'm going to have below in the description kind of gets into the business model of an Emsella, which, price point still applies to kind of how you would set up your business with this chair. Okay, but basically, if you're charging, anywhere from $300 a session or a package of sessions for $2,800 or whatever it is, when you really look at the ROI and look at the great competitive price point of something like this, and then you look at statistically how many different men you can serve, I mean, it's unbelievable how fast the ROI can actually be in paying off something like this, to the point where it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to be financing something like this, with at least at this much better competitive price point versus the Emsella. However, that said, out of integrity, in my advisement of clinics and businesses and practitioners, I always want to make sure that these businesses have their marketing dialed in. So while it's true, you could have thousands of, patients or clients coming into your business within a 25 square mile radius, more than you could handle, while it's technically there and available to you in your region. How are you acquiring those? Do you have a turnkey way? Do you have a system in place where you're getting phone calls every day, warm phone calls, applications, right, through your website, things like that, and your salespeople or whoever is converting them, right? If you don't really have something that's reliable like that, where I could say, hey, you're gonna bring this modality, and you should grab 10 new clients every week, and if you can say, okay, no problem, like I can do that, I just got to do X, Y, and Z, right? No big deal. If you don't have a system in place like that already, then that's something we should talk about firstly. I have, after 15 plus years in this industry, I've also curated and found actually some very talented online marketing um, business people, including companies. So I got some independents. I also got a couple companies, and the really good ones are confident in what they do. I would just tell you that. They're not the type of people that are going to be like, oh, it's, $25,000 up front and then blah, 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 blah. And hopefully it'll work out for you. It's like, wait, what? Hopefully? And that's usually how it is. The people that I work with they show you the results first. Okay, basically, long story short. So they show you the results. And if you don't, so it's results first within the 60 days, and then once you're happy, you're getting these leads, and you're like, oh my God, this is great, then you roll into a management fee. That's really how it should be, right? If somebody is so confident that they can drive business, good business, then they should just prove it. That's the way I see it. So people I work with do that, and then you just start with a very, very modest ad spend, and that's the only thing you're actually spending any money on. Everything else, there's no cost, no fees, no nothing. And then that business is driven to you. You make money, make sales, you're getting ROI, and then it becomes very easy to say, you know what? Let's continue this relationship and let's actually start to scale a little bit. And then at that point, management fee kicks in, which again is actually quite reasonable. So it's taken me a long time to find people that are reasonable in the online marketing space as well, and also trustworthy and have really want to prove what they can do before they just actually charge you anything. Okay, so I just want to share that piece. That's always really important to address in your business, especially when it's going to be a kind of a new service, a new demographic, right? A new type of customer, is that you are confident with that piece, so you're just not left with a piece of equipment or modality that might, work very, very well, but you're just not making any money on it. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that in businesses. So I don't want to be that guy I'm very good at directing, practitioners to find and things that really move the needle are very, very effective. But that doesn't mean it's a guarantee of, on a business level, making a bunch of money and getting an ROI. You do obviously have to know what you're doing on a business level from a marketing perspective. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there as well. And if you want to chat with me about that aspect, I am around as well. My email address is in the description. Hopefully you found this helpful. And of course, you can also post questions below in the comments.